Hi everyone, I hope you're all staying safe and well. Welcome to the Citizen channel. We have on our regular little features today that's quite fun in a sort of graveyard sort of way for City fans. Our sort of sense of humour. We're going to have another episode of Horrible Histories today. And it's a big one. You've probably seen this, but it's good to watch back again and have a look at. We're going to have a little watch along with this as well. So if you've got another device you can use, or open up another tab and turn your volume off and listen to me as I prattle on to this little watch along. Any sort of memories I've got personally, which I have of this game. I was there at this game. So we'll share that with you. Yeah, so it's obviously the Horrible History. You've seen the thumbnail. You know what it is. Obviously, it's the 21st of March 1970 game that pretty much did go down in folklore, probably between Manchester City and West Ham fans, but certainly West Ham fans, I've seen it on plenty of their sites over the years. And as a football thing as well, this poor gentleman here behind me, this poor guy, got a little bit of stick for that day, but he did bounce back. Obviously, he had some ups and downs, didn't he? But yeah, he became famous for one particular goal, if perhaps not the game itself, but interesting to look at the pitch as well. Fantastic pitch, but there's a little bit of background to that as well, even the game previously to this. So we'll have a look at the 21st of March 1970 today. Manchester City 1, West Ham United 5. Please, if you're new to the channel, please push that subscribe on. I do all these little history vlogs and City present quizzes, lots of different things. So loads of stuff on City out there for you. So if you can point any other City fans in my direction, I would be very grateful. And of course, if you do check the playlist, you'll see some film and TV stuff as well. I have a little film and TV channel. I do split my time between film and TV and City, but if the film and TV is no use to you, don't worry about it. There's loads of City stuff. But if you know anyone who might be interested in the film and TV stuff, film reviews, TV drama reviews, information vlogs, loads of different things on there as well. So please check that out if you can. And of course, all comments are very welcome. Comments on this game, your memories of this game. I say my memories have obviously faded, but watching back certain things sort of brings back the obviously little memories as well, which does help, doesn't it, at the time. Of course, if you want to follow or friend me on Facebook and Twitter, I do check every 3 or 4 days and follow and friend everyone back on there as well. So yeah, let's all comments are welcome. If you can't give us a comment, please just give us a little thumbs up. I get lots of views and stuff for these vlogs these days, but if you can give us a little thumbs up, it's nice. It's just nice to get them. It's just from my point of view to get these things. So as I say, get your sort of another device. I usually use a phone and a laptop at the same time, so I'm obviously do that. But if you've only got access to one machine, you can't watch this watch along later. Please check that later. Just listening to my waffle, and then check it out again later if you want to suffer. Well, it's not suffer, it's just have a laugh at what happens basically in this game, and that's all we can do. We can just have a bit of, not everything goes to plan, does it? Yeah, so going back to the time, yeah, we were still glowing, weren't they? City as a club, we were still glowing. It was only a couple of weeks after the League Cup final, this West Ham game. Obviously played on another mud heap of a pitch. You'll see main roads, literally, you can't see any grass on it. But yeah, I mean, Wembley was terrible that day. So, I mean, we were talking the lead up to this game. You did have the League Cup final a couple of weeks before, which was took it out of the players. You're talking injury time as well, weren't you, on a really difficult pitch. And our league form hadn't been fantastic in that second half of the season either, as all these games were sort of piling up. And City sat 11th with 36 points, and West Ham was 17th on 28 points. So they weren't doing that well themselves, and they didn't have a bad team at the time. And we'll talk about a certain prolific striker they just literally signed on. We'd already beaten them at Upton Park, or the Boleyn Ground. We used to call it Upton Park in my day, 4-0. So what could possibly go wrong in this game? But obviously we know it did. What's sort of forgotten as well as that League Cup victory 2 weeks before, we'd literally been on a winning run in the European Cup Winners' Cup, and of course we played Academica di Coimbra on the Wednesday before this game, so on the 18th of March. So you're talking 3 days before. Again, the pitch didn't suddenly change from Wednesday. You'll see the pitch on the watch along, obviously, but the pitch suddenly didn't change from one game to the next. It was a grueling game against Academica di Coimbra. It went to extra time. This is the first season I was actually going. My dad had sadly passed away early in the season. This was his first season I was sort of going on my own with my mates, and yeah, that Academica di Coimbra game, it was a horrible game. And I remember at 3/4 time, The City fans were running from one stand to the other. I mean, the big section in the corner of the Black Line that sort of went quite high. All the City fans from well, not all of them, but a lot of City fans from the Kippax were running round and standing in there singing, then running back round to the Kippax and singing, then running, Kippax give us a song and all this sort. So it was that boring, the game, to be honest with you. It was hard work for the players, but it was boring. Actually, Tony Towers actually won it for us in the last minute, but it was certainly would have been tired legs who went obviously for this West Ham game. We'll talk about the team in a minute, but people forget that. People forget we'd played on a bog of a pitch against the Portuguese team only 3 days earlier. And as I said, that had gone to in extra time as well, so 120 minutes on there. So it was an equally ugly pitch that had, for this memorable game, obviously remembered for all the wrong reasons, but hey, we can look back, and even Mr. Corrigan can look back and sort of not laugh about it, but yeah, philosophical, that's the word, isn't it? The team that day against West Ham, anyway, as he rolled up, we had Corrigan in goal, of course, Buck, Mann, Doyle, Booth, Oakes, Towers, Lee, Bowyer, Young and Pardo. I believe Francis Lee was suffering a little bit from a heavy cold, so he wasn't at his best. You could see from his face, actually. He did score in this, but you'd think someone had smacked him across the head. He wasn't looking very happy, but I don't think he was very well. And it wasn't the greatest day to play. I don't think it stopped raining. But Bowles was the substitute. Stan Bowles, he was actually unused in this. There was no Heslop. He was in and out that season anyway, to be honest with you. Tommy Booth had sort of took over the number 5 spot, and there was no Colin Bell. I think he had a little bit of a niggle. He missed 3 or 4 games, I think, after the Academica game. He went off in that game, so I think he was injured in that. The West Ham team, yeah, that was an interesting one. They had in goal Grotier. I don't remember him. I don't remember Grotier, so I do remember a lot of players from this time, but that name doesn't particularly ring a bell. I'm not sure he played that much for West Ham. Bonds, Lampard, there you go, I had Lampard, Boyce, who will obviously appear later, Stevenson, Moore, the legend Bobby Moore, Holland, he was a good player, Holland, Eustace, Jeff Hurst, and of course Jimmy Greaves making his debut. So, and you will find out in this, obviously, he likes to score in his debuts for clubs, so we'll talk about that in a bit. Howe was playing, and the sub was Llewellyn, who came on in the 78th minute. The attendance wasn't bad, considering that it was terrible weather. I'm not too sure how much it was the Academica di Coimbra game, but certainly for this game, it's 28,353. I think there were West Ham fans there. You could see some on TV, etc., but it wasn't exactly packed that day, but it wasn't a bad crowd, considering, as I say, we'd had 2 games in a week, so it was quite interesting. I think the game before that had been a home game as well, that we'd actually lost against Palace, so we'd had like 3 home games quite quickly, and it was pay at the gate those days. I do remember I was at this one, I was at the Academica di Coimbra one, so perhaps my spending money might not have quite stretched to all 3 of those games. I might not have been at the Palace game, but hard to know. I do have to, it's even then I couldn't really afford the programme, so I didn't always have a programme either. Anyway, we're going to get with this watch along now. I'll just set this up. I'll count you down. The links obviously are on the screen and below there, so if you want to pause this and get yourself ready. But it's only about 5 minutes 36 seconds. So obviously I think this is an ITV thing, and I've got the one I've got here is West Ham videos. It's on West Ham videos, so I'll put that link up anyway. It doesn't matter whose it is, does it, at the end of the day? So I'll count you down from obviously the start of the thing. You've got any ads to skip through. Skip through your ads and then start the game, where obviously it starts sort of with the ball in the middle of not a very green pitch, obviously, so we're going to start from that. I'll count you down, obviously, for the thing. Let me just set this up now for the game. Let's get it big screen so I can look back with you and enjoy. Right, I'll count you down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Just look at that pitch. That's absolutely... How you could play good football on that, I do not know. There's a bit of green in the corners, yeah. Here we go. Let's have a look. Franny Lee there. He wasn't well. Poor lad. Neil Young. Tried to play football. As you can see, this is quite early on in the game. It's just a matter of putting your foot through it, wasn't it? That's Holland. Jeff Hurst there, of course, the World Cup winner. Oh, but I mean, most people said that was offside and Mr. Jimmy Greaves here doesn't mess about. We could do with a striker like him now, couldn't we? But as I'm recording this anyway. But yeah, that was he scored on his debut for every team he'd played up to till then, so that was fantastic achievement. What a goal scorer. But this Holland, I think Holland was about 5 yards offside, but so it was a bit of a cheat really. Tony Buck ended up on his bum there, of course. So that was it. I think that was 11th minute, and so we do get back, we do fight back. We do try and play football, West Ham, at the time, like most teams in the 70s, of course. Did try 60s and 70s. Good catch back. Look at this kick by Corrigan now. It'd be significant later, but see what distance he got on that. Now I think the wind was behind him there. He wasn't the greatest kicker of balls, Joe Corrigan, and you'll see that later on. He for a big lad, he sort of couldn't get the strength into the kicks. And here we go, going through, and I think that one's given offside against Holland. Obviously, a few minutes too late. They should have given the other one offside as well. That's half a man there at the left back. Well cut out. Alan Oakes, a fantastic Alan Oakes. Great left foot on Alan Oakes there. Just looking for someone. No Colin Bell in this, don't forget. Mike Doyle, absolute Mike Doyle on the run. Look at this, that good ball there, Franny Lee, and he shoots. There we go. And look at that. I mean, they slag Corrigan off, don't they? I mean, but look at that, was dreadful. No wonder I hadn't heard of the guy. I was starting to look at Francis Lee. Looks quite miserable, doesn't he? But that's the equaliser. But yeah, I'm sorry. How they can pick on Joe Corrigan with goals like that, I do not know. Here we go now. It all starts turning sour for City quite soon now. But you say City did have one or two chances at this team. There, a bit of a mix-up there. Corrigan's not really at fault. He did his best. Tony Buck nowhere, and Jimmy Greaves scores his second one. I would have been in the Platt Lane that day, behind the goal. I would have think that's where I used to sit with my friends. But I've not caught myself on camera, I must admit. I do look at these old games and try and find myself, but I wasn't always in the same place. That's 2-1. That's out by Corrigan. That's Lampard now. There you go. He slices wide. He'd probably, if that had been on target, it would have been a goal, wouldn't it? Tony Buck there. So Mr. Lampard played number 3. Yeah, it looked as though we were getting demolished, but we weren't that bad actually in the first half. And look at those covers there in the corner. I used to have those on. I remember those, having them on like for bad weather and snow mainly, but obviously they probably used to use it for this as well. There we go. Well, that's a cross from Boyce. What a fantastic header. That's Jeff Hurst. Absolutely superb. I don't think anyone could do anything about that. It was a cross by Boyce. Superbly taken by Jeff Hurst. But could anyone? Corrigan certainly wasn't at fault. Perhaps defenders could have done better, but that was a superb cross, wasn't it? That was going to cause problems for any defence anywhere, I think, even now. So Hurst and Greaves doing the business. On to the second half now. Mr. Jeff Hurst having a bit of a whinge now here, but this is the highlight now. This is what most people remember, this little bit here. But so Jeff Hurst having a whinge. You perhaps should have given him the throw-in, shouldn't we? Look at this kick now by Corrigan, and watch him not even look that it's going to West Ham play. Look, he turns round to look at the goal, and the boys just volleys it first time. And that's why I said I think the wind was with him in the first half, because he just didn't get much distance from some of his kicking if it was a windy day. And that was prime example there. I mean, Boyce was only, 30-odd yards, 40 yards out at most. Look, that's only 40, 35, 40. He's only kicked it literally about 25, 30 yards, Joe Corrigan there. But a great goal, well taken. But he did turn his back on it, didn't he, Corrigan, and not even look at where the ball had gone. I mean, that was 3-1 at the time, don't forget, with about 8 or 10 minutes left to play. So perhaps he'd just give up by then. I think half a man there tackling in the corner. I think we're going to see the final goal now. The crowd dwindling away. Some great fans and bedraggled wet fans. I mean, it was a wet day. And I always used to sit on the front row or go on the front row. So I used to get soaking wet. You do it at the grounds now, don't you? But this will be the fifth and final goal now. Good cross. Not out well enough, and look at this, fantastic. Jeff Hurst again smashes it in. The crowd, look at the scoreboard end there, almost deserted, but a great goal by Jeff Hurst there. Took it really well. A great volley, but yeah, again, apart from that goal, I don't think you could particularly blame Corrigan for any of that. And the commentator says the West Ham fans are shouting easy, easy, easy. I don't think there was that many there to actually sing easy, 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 to be honest with you. But there you go. Let me just get this back on now. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Oh yeah, you've got to enjoy it, haven't you? It is, say you've probably seen that. You've certainly seen the boys goal many times. I mean, extracts from a memorable match by Peter Gardner, published in the City programme. I think it was this one here, the West Ham programme from 2nd of October 1976. Just a couple of things. Obviously, he was asking Joe Corrigan about it. Corrigan didn't think it was funny at the time. He probably wouldn't. But then again, as I said, he turned his back on it, didn't he? I mean, as soon as he kicked that, he must have known. I mean, he literally looked at where he was kicking. He must have known it was going straight to a West Ham player. Perhaps he didn't think he would actually bother hitting it first time, and he might just control him and sort of play it around. But there you go. Joe Corrigan didn't think it was funny at the time, but he had provided one of soccer's most amusing incidents. He did. I mean, that was still shown to this day. It's still on YouTube and everything, so you can still enjoy it. And that was constantly repeated on television with him, for the poor guy. Says Corrigan today, I took a lot of this is 76. This is a couple of years later, obviously. I took 5 or 6 years later. I took a lot of stick over that incident for a long time afterwards, but now I can look back and laugh at myself. Yeah, we all laughed at him as well, mate. Even though it's at times still shown on television. However, there's one point I would like to make. No one at that time gave Boyce any credit for seeing his chance and volley in such a tremendous goal. It was a fantastic goal, Joe. You weren't watching, mate. You know, that's the principle of a goalkeeper. Watch what's going on. I know you're a bit fed up, and we were all probably fed up at the time, but hey, there you go. Of course, Corrigan's problems weren't sort of over then. He found his #1 spot under threat many times over the period, and especially in the mid-70s when City signed a Scottish keeper. There you go, Scottish keeper called Keith McRae. And he actually took over in goal for long periods. But with sheer hard work, of course, and determination, he not only became a fantastic keeper for City, but also was unlucky not to be more regular with England. Obviously, he was up against Shilton and Clements, of course, the greats then. And he got a few caps for England. But yeah, it was, for me anyway, personally, for certainly 2 or 3 seasons, he was definitely the best goalkeeper in England. He was just unfortunate that he came up against Shilton and Clements. Yeah, carrying on with the magazine article, City that day slumped to their heaviest defeat in 5 years as a footballing genius continued a remarkable sequence by scoring on his debut for every team for which he had played, and that was, of course, Jimmy Greaves, a forward feared by every defence in the world. You know, we could do one of them. Had just joined the Hammers, although he was mate weight. Yeah, he was getting towards the end of his time. He was mate weight in the record-shattering deal that took Martin Peters, there you go, another England hero, from West Ham to Tottenham in what was British soccer's first £200,000 transfer. So he's a bit of a mate weight, but still a lot of quality there. So there you go, not a significant game or result in itself, but still remembered, obviously, sadly for one, not particularly for the 5-1 victory by West Ham. I mean, obviously, I think the following years, I think we won every game up to when they got relegated in the late 70s, West Ham. I think we virtually won every game from that game, every season. So it wasn't mainly remembered for particularly the 5-1. It's not the biggest victory for West Ham at Main Road. We'll perhaps talk about that another day. But yeah, it just remembered really for poor Joe Corrigan. And I probably think that other goalkeeper made a worse mistake. But yeah, that wasn't the same, was it? It wasn't really looked upon as the same. Poor Joe Corrigan. He probably still has, as I'm recording this, he probably still has nightmares to this very day. But yeah, anyway, thanks for joining me for this horrible history. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the watch along. If you've not had a chance to watch it, just go back and have a watch and as I say, enjoy if you can, which you can. As City fans, we can enjoy the lows and the highs. We love the highs, don't we? But yeah, we've got to embrace the lows as well. But so thanks for joining me for this horrible histories. Looking back at the 21st of March 1970, Manchester City 1, West Ham 5. Fantastic. Joe Corrigan, poor guy. Couldn't kick for toffee. Come on, I must admit, as a keeper, I wasn't great. I was okay, but yeah, I think the longer your legs, and I think he did have long legs. He's a big guy, wasn't he? I think you don't get that power to the foot end of your legs, so I think that was probably the reason. But all the best, Joe. Anyway, fantastic. That's from his testimonial brochure, actually. That image there is fantastic. Anyway, and I was looking for myself in the background. There's a couple of little lads there who probably look a little bit like me, but I'm not sure if it is me. But there you go. Anyway, thanks for watching. watching. Whatever you're going to do the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. So you join me here again on the Citizen channel, or perhaps you have a flick across, have a look at my film and TV channel, wherever it is. All I ever ask of everyone out there is please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.